Hey everyone, this is Uthris, and welcome to something a little bit different. So, last time I talked to you guys, I mentioned something along the lines of showing you guys some pixel art, and maybe starting a tutorial series, just a small minor side thing. And it'll be pretty loose and pretty informal in terms of what you guys need to know to accomplish some of this stuff. It's a whole lot of fun. Pixel art is, at least the way I go about it, it's essentially painting in very, very loose detail. So this episode, I'm basically just going to show you guys some of the stuff that I have done in the past, and then maybe, yeah, show you some animations. This is pretty much on the fly. I haven't really decided what all to show you, but I'm essentially showing you things that I was making for a video game a while back. That I can show you here. So this is just in my art folder and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try, and let's load up one of these NPCs here. Hopefully, preferably one that was actually finished. So all my pixel art, at least for the game that I was making, is I believe 32 by 32 pixels. And as you can see, we can zoom in here. You can see all my layers on this sidebar. And everything is, well, shown because this was pretty much when I was about to export it into an actual character sheet, which is just a flat image with actual, tiles, spaced tiles to do all the different animations for everything. So it looks like I happen to have an animation set up here. It looks like an idle and some type of shoot animation. And this is all hand drawn, it's all hand moved around and put together by hand. It's really, for me, the best way to do traditional pixel art. If I had to guess, you guys probably can't see too well because I'm zoomed in so much. So let me zoom out here. I'm going to make a background layer just as a different color, something neutral, so you guys can see everything here. So there we go. So I want to back out a little bit more just until the pixel grid goes away, because when I'm zoomed in working, I like to have the pixel grid shown, but when you zoom out, it naturally fades away. So this is it's a Drow Ranger. This is one of the basic NPCs for my game. And as you can see, if you go frame by frame, you can kind of see this is his idle animation. And so basically he opens his cloak, he'll bounce up and down a little bit, and then close his cloak and sit there. And he'll also draw his bow out from underneath his cloak. And, to get all these little frames lined up, you can see everything. The idle animation alone is about 7 frames, and then it repeats in reverse, so it's really 14 total frames, and it plays about 1 frame every 0.1 seconds to give it a good timing. And essentially that's just something I would have to do manually to add more frames to make it smoother in some parts, or if I want an animation to play faster, I would cut out frames just due to quickness of play, because you wouldn't be seeing those frames if I'm trying to keep everything at a 0.1 second frame rate. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this so you guys can kind of see what one of these can look like. So he's gonna idle, he's gonna go through, start pulling out arrows and shooting, and at that point he would actually spawn an arrow entity, and actually launch that at the player. So this is, a simple pixel art. It's very 18-bit. And if I go back to 100% view, or actually I think 200% is what it is in the game. This is about the size that you would be seeing, and the farther away you get from pixel art, the better it looks, because the details kind of start blending together, and art in general follows that rule. And so this is just one of my little animations that I've done, and I hope you guys kind of like this sort of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and load up probably another one here. How about we have a Drow Ranger, but I also have a Drow Warrior here. Where is the Elf Warrior? So the Elf Warrior is essentially the same kind of style. He's got leather armor. He's still got the green, effects, but he doesn't have a full cloak. It looks like I just have a simple animation here. It looks like just the attack animation or something. So he's gonna idle a little bit and then take a forward step and swing. And then there's run animations, jump animations, falling animations. All these little side things are all the animations I would have to put together for the game. Jump, fall, and then also an attacking version of all those animations. So if he's running, he needs to be able to swing without, playing a full stop kind of animation. And I can just go ahead and add frames onto here. If I do that, let me just shrink this down. I don't need the navigation pane really showing. If I do that, what I can do is just switch them into a running animation real quick. Let's see. If I highlight all of these and just get rid of that one frame that's being shown, if I can find it somewhere, here it is, the last attack frame. I can find the running animation, which I generally want to play in a loop once or twice, just so you can see how smooth it can be. Shoot, how many frames is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Setting this up sometimes is a little bit of a pain, just so you can view animations and how well they blend together. Get rid of these empty frames. Oh, I'm just deleting layers at this point. That's not what I want. Jesus. Okay. Sorry, I'm really rusty. I haven't actually messed with any of these since for about a year. So it's gonna probably play a little weird. So he'll do his idle, he'll do a swing, and then sit there like an idiot because I undid too far. Welcome to live recording where, nothing seems to work out. Yeah. Okay, I can't show you that run animation, I guess. Maybe another one of these that I can open up will have the run. You can see we have some variation in mobs. This little bat thing, this thing would be just a simple animation kind of chasing the player around in a cave. Just a simple flapping motion. It doesn't really idle, it's always moving, so there's no point in making any other animations for this one. What else do we got here? We have, let's see, we got an elf. This is a drow wizard. And he's holding a book. He's got some floating orbs, and I think this was his casting animation. So he just lifts up his arms, and something would happen. I think he would shoot a fireball or something of that sort. But his animations are pretty simple, just because he has no legs, and so he didn't really, need a running animation. His idle animation actually is just his normal running animation, because he's bouncing, the orbs are moving, and his staff is moving a little bit. So if you just put that on ground, what happens is just that little movement of his idling and moving forward, it looks like he's just kind of walking and his cloak is flowing a little bit. So you can get away with shortcuts with sprite art and things like that. When you get into like 3D animation, there's really not a whole lot of shortcutting you can do. You can do like, you can squish the actual things together a little bit and get away with kind of just fudging areas just so it looks right. I also have a wolf. This guy's pretty cool. To get this looking right, you know, it's a lot of watching videos frame by frame, so you can try and boil down the animation as quickly as possible. I mean, this is a 6-frame running animation. I mean, it's not the smoothest in the world by any means, but more frames, of course, makes it smoother. But it definitely looks like a wolf running, or a dog running at least. And, you know, he has an attack, a jump. This guy, he pretty much kind of jumps at you and bites down. And all of these are still kind of work in progress. So none of these are really 100% done. What else do we got here? We got, this one's a work in progress, but it's actually one of my favorite just sprites in general. Okay, I had to do a little bit of a skip there. I was still in vent and everyone started talking and basically ruined my flow. Anyways, this is kind of a work in progress animation still. This was, he's basically a humanoid bird. So he has humanoid arms, but mainly bird features for sure. And this is his just, I believe this is his running animation. And so, it's definitely a lot of playing around, doing a lot of lasso tools, slowly moving the pixels, saving that layer, making another layer, superimposing things on top of each other. And then hand redrawing certain areas just to make it flow correctly. Actually, I wouldn't mind showing you its idle as well. So let's see. It's a 4-frame idle, which means we need 8 of these, I believe. So generally, idles just play forward and then reverse back down to the first frame, like so. And so he'll run, and then he'll do a little squawk at you. It's just one of those really kind of interesting things. Let's see, what else do we got to show you all? This was going to be the first boss. He is a earth golem. And so it's going to look a little weird because there's a lot of little animations going on at once here. From his idle to movement to a punch. And then that one where it kind of freezes, that is actually a stun. So like he would be stunned for some reason here. And then you would hit him, he would break apart like that, disappear underground. Another phase of the fight would happen, and then he would essentially reform himself and then continue the fight. And then when he explodes at the end, that's essentially his death animation at that point. So that's probably one of the most moving parts, just because the swirling of the bottom part here has a lot of kind of waves running through it. And I don't just do animations and things like that. I do some environment, because it's a lot easier to just paint an environment than trying to get something moving around and frame by frame. A static image sometimes is pretty nice. So here I can show you, let's see, this is the main character. Of my game. And it's actually the first probably sprite image that I ever drew. So compared to, like, say, the Drow Warrior, it's not as clean. And this is something that, you know, as you progress through the developmental process, you have to go back and re-edit and revise certain areas that just aren't up to par with the rest of it. So you can see that, I mean, his sword is pretty jagged, it's not very detailed. The hilt I mean, really, it's the same color as the blade, which doesn't make sense. The fact that he's wearing blue jeans in this fantasy world is a little weird. He's got Sonic sneakers because I lack creativity. So yeah, it's just one of those things you notice after it's finished, and so you just start nitpicking it and changing things and reworking it. And he has the most animations. He's got standing attacks, running attacks, jumping attacks, falling attacks, because the player is going to be doing all these inputs while moving around. And it's just, as you start building these, you'll start to realize that all these other animations are just needed to make the game work and to make everything make sense. Like, I didn't know I'm gonna need a running attack when I first made this thing. I was like, oh, just an attack animation will work. No, it doesn't work, because it looks very, very janky to just have the character stop pretty much dead in his tracks while he's moving forward to take a swing. Environments, from things from backdrops. So this would just be kind of in the background. Again, it's basically a parallax image. It's really far in the background. Your character's not interacting with this at all. And then what you would get that you would actually walk on is, let's see here, where is my environments? I have very weird folders set up. Castle? No. Cave? Yep. So this is basically an environment tile sheet, and this would be loaded into the map editor, and I could individually pick out these tiles, place them around as if I'm creating a world, and layer them. And so we have the outer kind of world and cave areas, and then we have kind of the actual cave section, so everything turns blue, a little bit darker. You start losing bright colors. You also have some environmental details here, so like more fungal looking things compared to more flowery looking things. Signs for people to know where they're going, and you just layer these on top of each other and you can make an actual environment. And you have to account for a lot of things, so like slopes in both directions, whether the slope is going to be in front of a block, and so you need to put background as well, how the grass is going to be layered, effects like this to kind of break up the monotony of just the normal grass tile. It's probably just not the most efficient way to do it. You could probably get away with just doing a flat image and then coding the actual pathing around it, but this is the method that I was using. It's just one of many methods. There's really no right or wrong way to do this kind of stuff, and that's kind of the joys of art in general. You just create and it'll start working. And then when you get into development, this is kind of just the pathing that you would set up, and so the character would be moving around on these black areas. Everything else is just environment, non-collision, things like that. And then what you can do, I think I have, if I go to the ice kind of level, this is essentially kind of what a level can look like if you do this in one big flat image. And so this is pretty much scaled up to the size of the level, and you can see it's a lot of rough block ends initially all through here. And then what you do is you go back in, and I can zoom in here, you can see you can just start refining all the areas and just basically hand painting all the little details. This does take longer than just making a tile set, because it's essentially a fully hand painted thing. If you just do tile sets, you can kind of just throw sections of the map together. And so that's kind of the advantage of doing tile sets over these large single piece images. What else do I got? I got some more details. this ended up being the tile sheet for the snow level. It kind of turns into a crypt at some point as well, so that's why we get these bricks and things like that started. And then you know, the ice of course is darker inside the crypt area, and then of course we have the awesome kind of effects like tables, skulls, books, urns, chains, things like that. Gotta have, of course, for a snowman, a little snowman. You know, just gotta have a little snowman. It's not a snow level without one. But yeah, if you guys want to see me work on some art, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoy this kind of stuff. This is stuff that I used to do in my free time, and it's just a lot of fun. I also have like UI things. I got the title screen, you know, and the different menus, and when you select things, what the background does in doing so. You get let's see, level icons. So these were going to be all the icons for all the levels in the level select screen. And so you can see this is kind of the crypt after the ice level. And then of course represents the ice level itself. And then the cave levels. So yeah, I think that's about all I want to show you guys in this episode. I don't know how long this has been running. I've been kind of rambling on to you all. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe to my channel for some actual gameplay. I do that, and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.